Thank you so much for joining us all the way from 7. We're going till 10 on Wednesday like this one, giving you some good music, but at the same time having some constructive discussions. Now, joining us on set is none other than Esther Segawa. Like I said, she's an educationist, but also a counselor, and she majors mostly in children. And you found us having a conversation, just reminding ourselves of how we struggled growing up, and we could not talk to our parents because the pictures painted back then, your parent was very, very authoritative and very disciplinary. Today, our parents seem to be very loving and kind, but absent. But let's start with you saying hello and greeting those who are watching us as well.
I'm very glad to be part of this show this morning. I'm very passionate about children, that's for sure, and I do teach them. That is on a daily basis. I do counsel them, and normally do tackle many challenges that they do face. Yeah, and actually do also motivation for them to get back on track. I'm very glad to be part of this show.
Do you have children of your own?
Oh yes, I have. I have 3. I'm married to a man. I'm a married woman. And I'm married
I was seeing the Segawa.
Yeah. The emphasis being a man.
Yes.
You've spoken about the challenges. Why don't we start with the challenges?
Straight away.
Yes. The challenges that you find in those children. Because most of the times we assume we know these children. But in actual sense we don't. Now that they get to confide in you, you're in their presence like almost all the time, listening to them, speaking to them, engaging them, you probably know more of the challenges than the parents do actually know. Yes.
One of the very first challenges that children face is that communication gap between the parents and them. And they find themselves not being able to express or even give feedback to the parents about the different challenges that they have. So that is challenge number 1. And yet in today's world, it has to be, there has to be what we call an open door policy, where a child has to express themselves and what they feel to the parent. Because as a parent, you need to understand what exactly is going on in this child's brain. So that's a challenge, communication problems.
The communication gap, is it in the language they use? Is it in not being given access? Or there is that wall parents still maintain? It is there
is that wall that parents still do maintain. You know, we're looking at children that have been born into the digital world. They are tech savvy. And as a parent, you know, we're not trying to move with the trend and trying to understand that now my child is a little bit more digital. So these are Generation Z kids now. So the way they think is actually different from the way we used to think when growing up. Yeah, back then.
So how do we solve that then? Because now we need to keep up. We already now understand that but we need to have that connection so we can actually understand our children, but also help them solve some of those issues. Yes. So how do we keep up now?
Number 1 is to have time with the kids. So that we remove that wall. We need to have time with our children. We parents are very busy looking for money.
Of course.
We're very busy looking for money. We wake up very early in the morning. As long as everything is in the house, the maid is there, the TV is there, the phone is there, then we move and come back very late in the night. So we need to be in the lives of our kids.
But you see, while we are speaking, I think I find even this whole notion also kind of hypocritical, OJ. Because now look at a parent who's being used at a particular company. You wake up very early, 6. You did it by your workplace at 5. By 7, you know. Now by 7 you have to work until it's something like probably 6, 8. You understand? Some places that go up to 8, then there is traffic. By the time you come back home, these kids have been home already. They are tired. They have to sleep so they can be able to wake up very early in the morning. Ideally, even I think their work, the kind of work we do, we are not even in Uganda. We're not in the space where you work for hours. That you can choose, have a, you know, but
we don't never say the hustle.
We don't never say the hustle, because so you know, so no ita ko business ko ka balancing, ochitegera okabalancing kati ate ne guwalekedde ka business ko naye muzadde kati ino kulinda ove ku mulimu guguli main ojje no kusawa 2.3 ojjo balancing kati naye agenda vaawo sawa 4 You understand
Yes.
that? So, do you think the environment itself does not favor us to be able to be in our children's lives?
The environment might not be favoring, but we have to juggle. Like we're juggling work. I'm a mother. Somewhere, somehow, I have to know that the fact that I gave birth to these kids, no one is going to be in their lives apart from me. So definitely I have to find a way of juggling. A very good example. If I woke up very early in the morning and I left my daughters at home because I have to juggle, there has to be some way for me to communicate. Right now I have an S2 who hasn't yet gone back to school, and I'm here. I just give a call. Rachel, fumbie. How fumbie otia. Before I leave, I make sure I leave the instructions. So now the fact that I'm busy the whole day, it's going to be on the phone. How have you gone about with this? Anyone knocking? Please don't do this. You know, now we give instructions on the
phone.
On the phone, because if the juggling is going to be there, we have to find a way of balancing.
It's called .com parenting.
Yes.
You video call your daughter.
Now it means parents need to let their kids have phones.
Senior too.
I think where you're going now is telling me that they shouldn't slide the phones and everything. Because the exposure to the screen time issue. But whatever it is, even if it is this, we supervise.
I want to slightly differ from what King is saying and say, yes, we are living in a busy world, but even when we are free, do we be there? Do we be present?
Do you try and make time?
I know you for being a busy guy, but I see you giving your daughter time. Can you still do the same for those four, the way you've done for this one? And I think it's parents either throwing in the towel and looking for an easy route. I've heard of parents who are taking their kids in boarding as early as nursery.
Yes.
Nursery, boarding section, nursery,
Yes.
King?
Nursery.
Anti the thing is, sometimes China gwamulekera gwe yesiga ali yekka oba bali babiri naye era bonna bonna bakola okufa obufi, and the only option is daycare.
But do you know,
actually even preschool, abaana baba batwala mu preschools, nasiba mu preschool later on them picking in the evening than omulekera ate abakozi. So I feel like it's just a deliberate thought for us parents to just make time in the midst of all things. The same way we make time for work, the same way we make time for everything else,
and even have
fix
time to watch
some
movies.
time for your children.
Yes, Esther, you were saying?
I wish parents could know the implication of putting a child as early as nursery into a boarding school.
Or primary.
It has very, very big implications. Because the very thing is, you haven't instilled any kind of values in this child and you're giving it away. Now what are you going to raise? That means you're going to battle with this child for the rest of your life. Because each time even they get holidays, you're not in their lives. Bweba umula ogezako okumugambako nti munnaye kino kyandibadde bwe kiti yalina kirala nnyo mulala kyamuteekamu. So now that becomes an issue. You get a child who's grown up. Basically, you're going to battle with this child for the rest of your life.
So issue of communication, at least for the parents out there, I hope you hear our cry. We don't just do these shows for the sake of doing them or for our fun. It's for you to at least get something out of it. So now, other challenges away from communication, because I believe those kids have so many secrets that they keep from their parents.
Influence from their friends. Influence from their friends is also one of the challenges. If I'm not present in my children's lives, that means as they grow up and they become teens or adolescents, they definitely will start following what their peers tell them to do. It could be indirect, it could be unspoken, but they will try to copy what their peers do. Why? I'm not present in their lives. So what do I expect? Now they have to pick on someone else's kind of lifestyle, behavior, you know.
Because they feel like it's cool.
Yeah. They feel like it's cool and you're not present to guide. So that is what is going to happen.
Ideally, who should choose friends for our children? Do we have control? Should we have control over, you know, the kind of friends they choose or they hang around? Is that in any parent's control?
It is. Why? let me try to dissect this. When we look at a parent being present in the lives of their children, it contributes a lot. A very good example, if there is open communication or positive communication between me and my child, it is going to help this child even bond with better or healthy friends. But if my relationship with my child is not good at all, it is also going to
affect their decisions
in the kinds of friends that they make. So basically, the parent and what they do really matters and contributes a lot to what kind of friends that the child gets. Then the other thing is, still, when I know the kind of friends that my kids have, I can still guide. I can still guide them. But that is dependent on the relationship that I have with my children, with my child. Yes.
So now you spot a bad friend. Like recently, one parent was complaining about some of the friends to the son, and he was like, mwana oyo mwana neighbor te mukwano gwaffe naye mwana bad influence. I checked my son's phone and found funny messages, you know, being influenced to girls, what stuff like that. So as a parent, how do you navigate helping your child drop a few friends that they don't find harmful? You know, they're like, my friend is good. How do you as a parent come in? Do we cross boundaries sometimes?
I forbid you, don't see King again. He's a bad influence. Bicha akola.
Bicha akola. But the best advice for that is to, as a parent, sit down with a child. Basically, the world we're in throws very many things at us. So a child needs to know. There are certain things that we can no longer hide from children. Because even if we hide...
Is there anything we can hide now?
We cannot. We cannot. So it would be better for a parent to sit with a child and tell this child, listen, as you navigate through life, the world throws different things at you. The types of friends, the way you dress, what you see, what you hear. But you as a person should know exactly what is beneficial into your life. So we need, I think, it also... the parent also needs to introduce the decision-making skills, also need to come in now. If this is going to be your friend, what are the good attributes about this friend? And what are the disadvantages if this person is your friend? Sit down and list these things together with your child. Then from that, I think a decision can be drawn.
You see one of the things that today, and I don't know how we're going to work this out. If you look at the way children are, like, OJ, first we are 8, you know.
In your family?
8 children. Our second born, our third born, the fourth born, the fifth born, they all came when I was looking. But also, I didn't know how they used to come.
Carry on.
Yes. Continue.
You get it? I didn't know how they used to come. All I know, mommy akoma no mwana, mommy akoma no mwana. Akugamba bugambi ngenda kuleta baby. When you had gone to school, you come back and there is a child at home. But today, I was in a conversation. I eavesdropped a conversation of a 5-year, I think 5-year and 6-year-old, discussing how and their curiosity about babies and how they come in the world, what happens, how. I'm like, no way. No way. You get it, OJ? Hey, today ask a kid, simple kid, omubuzo omwana yatandika omwana yajja ddi. Ogenda okurealizing nga seba abaana kati bamanyi kyo. Mane ngati tuhidinga tutya, tubanyonyona tutya. Tulale ntubagambirawo nti kati baba lulubuto lolabe luzimbi ayinamu ka baby. How are we going to navigate this era, honestly speaking, because it is too informed. What does a parent do? What should we prepare ourselves to do in this day and age? You as an educator.
Okay. Now
and how do we help you also as teachers?
Yes. Basically, sexuality. Now the topic here is sexuality. How do we handle sexuality?
From day one.
To your CPP.
When we're handling sexuality, the truth is, abana I know kumanya kisokedda ku mubiri gwe, they need to know what body part. You know, we used to hide and tell them that's a flower, that's a... They need to know.
Flower.
With the flowers.
They normally disguise.
Yes.
Yeah, because the real name that, you know, people don't want the real name to come out. But with this generation, it is something that is different. And now when we're handling sexuality, actually the best thing would be to handle according to age. A 4 to 6 year old, when you're handling sexuality and actually informing them about sexuality, it should be age appropriate. Now when we get to the teens or even the primary, we also handle differently. For example, when I'm handling a teenager, they need to know about their body, and the body changes. So now, my voice, I have pubic hair, I have this and this and this. That means all these changes mean that I'm growing up. I'm transitioning, I'm growing up, and if I have any kind of relations with a girl, that means she'll become pregnant. So all these, we go on tackling them according to age. But now with parents who actually cannot talk about sexuality in kids.
Mama wange tasobola.
Tasobola oyonga agende wa counselor. Hey, did you know that now in this age it is very important for your child to have a counselor? It is. Every holiday. Nabo batya. Era you'll send them there and they'll come back the way they went. Yes. So you can engage a counselor to speak to your child about these topics. I do believe it can help a lot.
Well, in case you're joining us, we have Esther Segawa today, and she's helping us navigate this whole thing of parenting, dealing with teenagers, peer pressure, and the influence that comes to that.
And feel free to ask questions, by the way, on what you want clarity on and how would you want to be helped and with your child.
Yeah.
Or you can even ask for your neighbor. Yeah.
I remember in my senior too, I was an altar boy my entire growing up, primary and up to O-level. And you know, altar boys, we are next to the priest.
Yes.
We are the priest's deputy. Holy. So I remember in senior two during break time, there was this particular girl I'll never forget, Inamono, Sylvia. My friends rallied me and convinced me and cheered me up to kiss her. Remember, kiss her, kiss her. Even drumming the best. I was there, I felt a cold sweat running in my head. And Namono also put there her straight face for me to kiss. And I never considered myself kissing anyone. And I remember drawing closer and closer, only to be saved by the bell. If the bell didn't go, I was going to do it. Peer pressure. How do we help our kids handle that? Because it's even following them even up to maturity.
Yeah.
I was shocked into even an adult can be peer pressured.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Only a young man drink because of peer pressure. Yes. Serious.
Conrad, you are not influenced by Gondi or Emma Somoka. Annie. Conrad. Peer pressure, one.
So how do we help our young ones deal with peer pressure? But now imagine what other kids tell these ones to do.
I think we're going for a short break.
Already?
When we come back, yes, already. When you come back, get ready to give us a call and ask your questions. But when we come back, Madam Teacher will be handling peer pressure.
We help jumpstart your day like this. The wake-up call.